Hi, I'm Irving. Welcome to Kato and Miss Case Part 2. As before, we don't have any recap or summary of what happened last week. We just dive into it.
Luck was with us when they got away. With Casey's scanner signal in that fellow's pocket, let's hope he's leading us right to Mabouse.
The police bands aren't jammed anymore, and something's coming in over one of them.
This is Major Howard Jackson, U.S. Air Force. The convoy under my command was taken over and the cargo confiscated. Our position is...
Your position is Ugplop. I don't see that on my map. Mabouse comes on and warns everyone to stay away or he'll blow up the city.
Rig for silent running, Kato. From what Casey told us, Mabouse has that truck outfitted with ultra-sensitive detection equipment.
I would really like to know how that works. I'd also like to know why they don't use it all the time. Do that and nobody knows you're coming.
That was our plane that landed on schedule.
Which is more than you can say for the Air Force. Being early has thrown off our timetable. I think we should stay here a little while longer. There's no sense unnecessarily exposing ourselves.
There's no good reason for you to expose yourself. I'll drink to that.
Yeah, that's odd. We're picking up a strong audio signal, but there's nothing on the radar. It's coming from in here.
Mabouse does some detective work and finds the device that Casey planted on Shugo.
You didn't have it with you before, did you? And your good friend, the Green Hornet, has experience in such matters, doesn't he?
Oh, no, you gotta believe me, Doc. I don't know how that got in here.
Do you believe him, Vama? Vama has lost faith in you.
Vama talks too much. And I'd love to see how she hides all that hair under that skull-tight alien outfit and then makes it come out looking perfect.
Radar shows a car heading in this direction at top speed.
Police?
I don't think so. It's running silently.
There's only one car I know of that does that.
The Batmobile. He turns the Green Hornet's homing device back on.
We've lost valuable time, Kato.
He knows we're on his trail. His man must have told him.
All the more reason to proceed with caution.
Of course it's a trap. And what do we do with traps? We walk into them. Very good.
Shugo, I asked, is that clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Then along here.
A mirror.
And a loudspeaker. Don't turn around, Green Hornet. Just throw down your weapons.
Trigger your gas gun and charge into them. That should knock out enough of them so Kato can finish the job.
I've been an ardent admirer of yours for quite some time.
We should get along well, then.
And this can only be Kato. You've both wandered far afield, haven't you?
When there's action, I like to be in on it.
He's in it all right. Mabouse has big plans for him.
What do you think the police will conclude when they discover Shugo in the car with you? Exactly, my friends. Their only conclusion can be that the Green Hornet masterminded the entire operation.
What about the warhead?
Gone. Spirited away by double-crossing underlings.
And what happened to the Green Hornet and Company?
The Hornet sting is aimed directly at the car. I've set the mechanism so that after it's activated, the slightest movement inside the car or on the road will trigger it. The explosives underneath the car will take care of the rest.
If the police find the car blown up and can see that the Hornet sting caused it, they'll know somebody else was involved, somebody who's more than a double-crossing underling. Even 60s police could figure out something like that. He piles them in the car, sets the mechanism with a vibration meter, and leaves. Within seconds, we hear a police car approaching. Its vibration will be enough to set things off. What do? Go to commercial, of course. When we get back...
Kato. Yeah?
I want you to know I've always loved you.
I'm going to fire the rear rockets. The reaction may jolt the car forward far enough to clear the explosion.
He inches his hand toward the control as the police car gets closer and closer.
Let's take these ropes off and get out of here.
Mabouse has a new problem.
There's a helicopter directly overhead.
Helicopter's given our position away. Police cars are altering course. They're staying well back, though. They wouldn't dare stop us.
Maybe not, but they can stay with you and find out wherever you go and then deal with you. Frank Scanlon is talking with the military brass, and they're closing every airstrip in the region, new, old, big, small, a converted slip and slide. If there's a possibility a plane can land on it, it's off limits.
Air Force jets buzzed them as they were about to set down. They can't land.
They have to.
They're not going to land.
To make matters worse for Mabouse, the Green Hornet and Kato have also figured out where he's going, and they're taking a shortcut to get there ahead of him.
Tell the drivers to pull over and stop. Bama.
He has them unload the warhead and put it in some bushes. Once they're far enough away, he'll detonate it.
Doctor, you can't do it. This isn't what we planned. It was only to be used as a threat.
I swore vengeance would be mine. And now it will be.
Doctor, I beg you, don't do it. Don't make me a part of it.
All right, then. You'll stay.
If those other henchmen have any brains at all, they'll see how quickly he turns on them and go find a new job. They leave, and he flags down the first car that comes along. Guess who?
The warhead's back there in the brush, but he's taken off with the detonator.
Can he set it off by remote control?
Yes.
Can you disarm the bomb?
No, and he's going to wait till he gets far enough away from here and then blow it.
Exactly what does he have to do to detonate it?
He activates the button and then presses it.
Get in.
They catch up with the truck, and it's crazy time. While Kato maneuvers to try and stop the truck, the Green Hornet heads inside. Kato forces the truck to a stop. Inside the truck, the Green Hornet is mopping the floor with Mabouse's men while Mabouse is trying to find the detonator he dropped. Maybe Kato should start carrying a mirror in case he ever encounters her again. Mabouse is down. Even lightening the video, I couldn't see what happened to the detonator.
Out.
Okay, that clicking sound you heard sounds like a Geiger counter. That's the detonator. Apparently he has it. In the car, he carefully turns it off. In the epilogue, we get the answers to a few questions. Question number 1, Vama.
And this is how Vama produced those lightning bolts.
What is it?
Looks like a battery, isn't it?
It is. It's a nickel-cadmium power cell. The boys in the lab rate its output at 25,000 volts. Now, you see, these wires ran from a compartment in her belt up to her insulated gloves. By raising her arm, she activated it.
And what about the flying saucer?
Well, the Air Force checked that out as a large weather balloon. Mabouse painted it with iridescent paint, and then he reflected some high-intensity strobe light off a large mirror onto the balloon.
Isn't a weather balloon always the government's answer? At least Mabouse pimped his out a little.
But how do they fake the crash?
That was just gasoline soaked over junk metal. They hauled the balloon down on the ground, exploded it, and then set fire to the scrap metal.
I assume you mean they set fire to the gasoline they poured over the stuff. Otherwise, I want to watch you set some metal on fire. And that's it for the Green Hornet. Like that one guy said, mistakes were made. The two biggest were not having better directors who weren't in love with long, pointless car sequences and such, and not listening to the public telling them what we wanted. We wanted action. Not just the Bruce Lee kind, but when we were watching a show like this about a superhero type, we wanted stuff to happen. The show spent too much time in extended dialogue and driving around town doing nothing. That was one thing that made Batman different. There's always something happening on the screen. Even if it's an extended dialogue, someone is making a dumb joke or missing the obvious. They're walking around so we can do sight gags. There's action even when there's no action. This show never quite got to that point. We'd get establishing shot after filler after stock footage, and it got boring. I really think with better directors, even with the whole issue over Bruce Lee, it could have gained a second season. But it seemed like every week things were too dark and too drawn out. My crew just liked watching Kato, so even with the controversy, which we didn't know about and wouldn't have understood, we took what we could get and enjoyed it. But we 13-year-olds weren't the main target audience. This was supposed to be more adult, tougher, and grittier, and adult audiences just didn't get into it. Now that I'm an ostensible adult, I understand why, and it's too bad. The show had definite potential and still has a sort of cult following similar to Batman. But unlike, say, Captain Nice and the Dumbbell Derby, I'm not interested in seeing a remake of this. Too many things have changed, especially technologically, so his whole bit would have to be revamped, and there's no way they could be the same characters. Britt Reed would probably be a big shot of some kind online or in social media, and if Kato was Britt's Asian houseboy, I think we can all guess how that would go over. So we have to be satisfied with what we got. The main thing we got was the springboard that catapulted Bruce Lee to stardom. He caught the eye of movie makers all over the planet, and we know how big he became. So he's easily the best thing that came out of this show. We can be grateful for that. And in spite of everything, the show is fun. There's a lot I can appreciate now that I didn't understand all that well at 13, mostly the technology he used. A big difference between this and Batman is, here we stayed within the realm of current technological possibility. The gadgets the Green Hornet and others built is believable for the time. With Batman, often not so much. A laser beam cutting torch that fits on his belt, for example, or an invisible ray that can shut down a car engine. We didn't get any of that here. The closest is the Hornet Sting, which is some kind of ultrasonic thing that basically vibrates things apart. But we knew that such things were possible, and if you had enough money, you could probably get your hands on one. So exit the Green Hornet, Kato, Miss Case, Frank Scanlon, Mike Axford, and all the rest. Enter? We'll find out. Until then.